Hey, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Liz, business coach for women of color, and in today's video, we're going to talk about the 5 phases of a simple service-based business so that you can identify what phase of business you're actually in and how you can figure out what you should be focusing on so that you can maximize this phase to the best of its ability and also easily transition into the next one so that you can start hitting your thriving income goals. So phase 1, this is the very first phase that people start off as new entrepreneurs, and this is the experimentation, find your baseline phase. And many new entrepreneurs, I'm gonna go on and say all new entrepreneurs hate this phase. It's a very uncomfortable phase where you're literally experimenting, you're figuring out what it is that you like and what it is that you don't like. And through this process, you're also trying to search for the answers to literally everything. Because we've been conditioned through school to first learn how to do something, copy it, and be able to do it again and repeat it for testing purposes, right? So it's not actually something that we're used to in terms of like figuring things out on our own and trying to actually create our own evaluation methods for what's going on. So this is a very uncomfortable phase, and it's one that many entrepreneurs don't really make it past because there really is no right way for figuring out how to get comfortable with this. It takes a lot of trial and effort. It takes support sometimes, especially if you don't really have examples of how to do this in a way that actually works for you. So during this phase, you're going to want to make sure that you're actually trying to find your baseline. And it can be hard to do this because you inherently think that everything that you're doing just isn't good enough. Because we've just been told this our entire lives, that we need to just work harder, that we're not as good as so-and-so, or that, you know, if we tried harder, we could get this grade or that one, or, you know, trying to go for a promotion and being told countless reasons why you're not ready or you're not qualified or your work isn't quality enough just because someone doesn't want to pay you more money or actually go through the effort of actually helping you get to the next level because they don't know how to do it. So you're not really prepared for this. So during this phase, you're really going to want to find a way, and coaching definitely helps, but find a way to be able to give yourself enough compassion and grace to just find your baseline before you automatically assume that there's something wrong with your messaging, that there's something wrong with the quality of your content, that there's something wrong with the way you look or the way you sound or the way your tech is. Going ahead and just do it so that you can at least see for yourself what's going on, because you might actually surprise yourself and discover that, oh, you can actually start making money in your business just with the words that come out of your mouth, just with the ideas that come into your brain, just with the, you know, beginner tech that you already have. So give yourself a chance to find your baseline. See what, you know, you're able to do with what you have right now. And when you understand where you are right now, when you're not afraid to actually, you know, be a little bit vulnerable with yourself to see, you know, where your skills are, where your strengths are, where there are areas for improvement, then you have a clear understanding of what you could be working on in that next phase. So speaking of the next phase, phase 2, that is where I'd highly recommend that you focus on your customer or client experience. Now, in the online space, there are countless programs and countless business gurus that 100% will tell you just focus on the money, focus on your marketing, focus on your sales, like that's the only thing that matters in a business. But you need to also be focusing on your actual client experience, because besides being an expert in social media and being an optimization and systems expert or whatever, you're actually still providing a service to another human being at the end of the day. And ideally, that's actually the impact that you want to create. Like, you want to be able to help your people achieve a certain thing. And that thing is something that's important to you. So use this phase 2 time in your business to focus on that client experience. And if, for instance, even if you're not a coach, if you're consulting or providing some other type of service, I highly recommend getting some type of coach training under your belt, even if it's not getting a credential or going through a long certification process or program, at least figuring out the basics of like active listening, of like asking probing questions to get to the root of what people are really looking for. Because as you're providing a service, people are going to do their best to try to explain to you what it is that they want. And sometimes it's hard for them to really articulate what that is, because in some ways, maybe they're not even quite 100% sure what they need themselves. And so they're looking for you to help partner with them to uncover what it is that they're actually looking for. And you will build an amazingly sustainable business if you're able to really help people clearly figure out what it is that they want and then give it to them. Because we want to provide services that actually help people, not just provide some random digital product that'll just sit in their inbox that no one will use. We want to be able to meet people actually where they are, to give them the help that they actually need. Like, that's the impactful part of your business. It's not the money. It's about how you're able to help people and how you're able to help them achieve their goals and creating the rippling effects of that. So focus your energy on that client experience. And I can say personally, for me, my phase one took about a full year. Just a full year of getting comfortable with just the words that came out of my mouth, the ideas that I had in my brain, and being able to just show up how I wanted to show up and be able to say that I'm showing up as me. Like, that whole process took an entire year. And then phase two for me of getting to understand the importance of the client experience and wanting to devote time to that portion of my business also took basically a full year, probably at least 9 months or so. And that was really because it was hard for me to find a program or a certification or a training that I thought would really fit in me where I was in terms of my beginner journeys and in terms of how I like to learn and understand things. So I found a training that worked for me, but the process of realizing, that I want to focus time and energy on this now that I'm comfortable showing up as myself in marketing. Like, I want to be able to dedicate time and energy to this so I'm not constantly on the hamster wheel of trying to get more and more leads into my business, which is where most businesses are at. They don't care about client experience. They're just chasing the next lead to get to the next dollar. But if you really want a sustainable business, it involves actually making sure you have a quality product at the end of the day. So that took me about 9 months to a year to also get the hang of. And don't overthink it, really. Like, if we're thinking about improving client experience, which will be an ongoing process, right? It starts first and foremost with just asking the people you work with about their experience and asking for that feedback. And I also recommend allowing them to submit it anonymously, if possible, just because it really helps to take the pressure off of the situation of them having to like give you constructive feedback to your face, which is difficult for most people to do. It definitely is an acquired skill, and you want to make that process as easy as possible for the people that you work with, just because there is that inherent power dynamic there. So first and foremost, just ask them. just ask them what were ways that their experience could have been better, or things they would have liked to see, or things that they enjoyed. And that's just a small, easy, free way to actually improve upon client experience before investing in an expensive training program. Although I will say that investing in training, ongoing training for yourself, is never a bad idea. So that's phase two. Now, phase three is about getting comfortable with your metrics. As I mentioned before, there are really no good benchmarks out there in terms of growing your online business. All of the benchmarks that we originally are shown, they're really based on somebody else's marketing. Like, they're trying to entice you to get into their program. So it's going to be filled with the crazy success stories that they get from a small group of individuals that are actually participating in their program. It's not going to reflect what the vast majority of people in these programs experience, right? So you have to take the things that you see in marketing with a grain of salt. You also have to take the things you see on social media in general with a grain of salt, just because it's the highlight reel. It's much easier for people to share their successes than it is for them to share their failures. So you're always going to have just like one half of the story, right? So first, to start getting comfortable with understanding your own metrics and your own data, I think it's helpful to understand that when we're talking about like conversion percentages, the percentage of people who actually like see your content and then decide to watch it or decide to follow you or subscribe and then decide to work with you. These are small percentages that we're talking about. Like, most people will not want to work with you. And it's not because you're like a terrible person or because you're not providing a quality service. It's just the data across the board. Like, it doesn't matter like how many 6-figure launches people try to throw in your face. Like, at the end of the day, they're only converting at maybe 2%. And that's if they're lucky. 1% is pretty standard too. So just remember that you don't have to you're not trying to aim for these like astronomical conversion rates. Like, you don't have to have engagement rates that are, off the charts. Like, really, people are dealing with low numbers here. So I think first, that's an important thing to understand before you, try to judge yourself too harshly. And then dig into your data. Like, see how many actual impressions do you get on the different platforms you're on. Impressions would be how many times your content is made available for someone to see, versus the reach that you get. So how many of those people actually view your content or engage with it in some way. And then we're going down into, okay, how many of those people actually subscribe or actually follow you, and then how many of those people actually click on your links for your services. So there definitely is like a chain of events that are happening that your data can give you a clear picture of. And I think it's really important that we look at the numbers, because the numbers they're not mean. They're not trying to harm you. We don't have to be nervous about them. They're just showing us a picture of what's happening. And at the end of the day, numbers are just numbers, really. And it's the stories that we have about them that affect, how we feel about them, or what we think about them, or what we think about ourselves, really. But it's just numbers at the end of the day. So definitely get comfortable with your numbers, get comfortable with your metrics. And that also is in connection to finding your baseline. But phase 1 really is about finding that baseline for yourself, of getting comfortable just showing up as you and, putting yourself out there with the skills that you have. And then phase 3 is really about, okay, let's actually look at this data. Now that we're comfortable enough doing stuff on a consistent basis, let's look at this data and see what's in there. So once you have that data, you know what's going on in there, then we're moving on to phase 4, which is diversification and amplification. So by this phase, you're really comfortable with your content and how you create and how you show up. You're comfortable in how you serve your clients. You have your proof of concept, and proof of concept for me is you're able to sign at least one client and help at least one client get that results. And then it's just a process of continually improving to see how can you improve on that to make sure that you're able to help the majority of people that work with you. And now at this point, you're comfortable and you're able to sort of spread more awareness out there about who you are and how you can help people. Now, phase 4 is something that people kind of can jump into like right at the beginning, and that's when they're kind of doing all the things and they're feeling overwhelmed. They're on all the platforms and they're just kind of like throwing spaghetti at the wall trying to figure out what it is that works. The difference between that and what actually happens in the phase 4 of a business that actually is that you actually know is working for yourself is that it just feels like an extension of what's already working. Because what's working isn't necessarily the particular platform that you're on. What's working is like your actual content, your actual service. So the ideas that come out of your head, the service that you actually provide, that's what's working. So it really doesn't matter what platform you're on. And at this stage in your business, you're really going to want to be platform agnostic in a way. Because if you boil down like your content to what it is that you actually like to do, at the end of the day, it's probably like a long form video or a short form video or a short form written word or long form audio. Like, boil it down to its most basic point and then repurpose that stuff onto other platforms so that you don't have to go through the effort of creating more and more original content, which will burn you out, but literally just spreading awareness about the amazing stuff that you're already doing, that you're already creating, and doing it in a way where you can sustain your energies by taking advantage of maybe like low cost tools like social media planners, things that'll auto publish things for you. Like, this is a great way to get more awareness out and really start hitting those high thriving income goals. And I think that more people need to talk about the importance of being platform agnostic, because what I found is that many of like the business coaches and business gurus out there, they'll sing the praises of one particular platform that they're on, but it's only because that particular platform helped them to get viral. So that particular platform happens to be the one that gives them the most clients, right? But for most people, that is not the norm. And there really is no difference between having, say, 4,000 followers on one platform and maybe 1,000 on 4. Like, there's no real difference there. So, even take my advice with a grain of salt, literally. But I think that, and this is me personally, that just diversification of platforms can help with all the, the different things that issues that platforms have. Also, it helps you to remember to keep like your content as, your like ownership over your content. So you have it housed, maybe saved on like Dropbox or Google Drive, or, in your storage on your computer, so that it's yours and you can use it however you want, no matter what's going on in the technological social media landscape, right? Like, it lives with you. It's another reason why people promote email lists, because it's, you're able to keep in contact with the people who are in your audience, because, whether it doesn't matter if YouTube's going down or Instagram's going down or TikTok's getting removed, like, it doesn't matter, because you can still contact those people because you have their email. So I definitely am a fan of diversification. And I think that anyone who is not a fan of diversification, I would be curious to see, if they went viral on the particular platform that they're just so enamored with, right? That's just my 2 cents, frankly, just my 2 cents. But yes, especially when you're starting from scratch and you aren't able to take advantage of a viral moment, then I definitely recommend diversification and amplification, because you can really take advantage of the different aspects of these different social media platforms and the different creative ways that you can reach, your people and grow your business. But it's important to not skip ahead to phase 4 when you're not 100% clear for yourself that it's not going to spin you out. Because if you do it too soon, it will spin you out. All right. Then we move on to phase 5. Phase 5 is really when you're looking at getting help. So by this time, especially as you've gone through phase 4 and you've already started sort of amplifying your message and diversifying, then you have a system or process in place that you've been following. And so over time, you come to realize what parts of that process you just don't like and you want to either get rid of, or you want to outsource, or you think someone can actually do it better than you and it can help you in your business. So this is really a time when you want to try and get help. And this is a great time to do that, because if you try to get help too soon, the people who you bring in to help are going to be looking to you for guidance. And if you don't have that, and in fact you're looking to them for guidance, then that can make for just a not really fun work experience for the person that is working for you. So, make sure that you're able to at least provide some guidance on what you're doing. why you're doing it that way. And then they can meet you where you're at, and then they can make it even better, or can at least help you in some way, shape, or form. But if you do this part too soon, you could start to feel overwhelmed, because now you have another thing on your to-do list, figuring out what to tell the person, your new employee or new contractor, telling them, trying to figure out what it is you want them to do to help you. Like that becomes just another task on your to-do list versus actually like helping and supporting you. There's a difference there. So those are the 5 phases for a service-based business. Use this information to figure out what phase of business you are in on your particular journey, and then once you figure that out, you can identify what's going on, where are ways that you can improve, what things could you be focusing on, so that you can really start looking to transition into that next phase. And I do have spots open for one-on-one coaching. I can help you with any of these phases really, but you really want to make sure these foundations are set so that you can have more ease in your business and simplify things as you actually try to hit your thriving income goals. Because a portion of hitting your thriving income goals is not only just math and numbers and being comfortable with that, but it's also being comfortable with yourself, being comfortable with the ideas that come out of your head, and being comfortable with the service that you provide. All right. So if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, use the link in the description box to book an interest call. We'll chat, see what's going on in your business, and we'll see if it's a good fit. And check out this video next if you want to learn how to get to a place of more intuitive marketing and why it will really be the game changer for you in terms of consistency and hitting your thriving income goals. See you there.